Hello, class. This is Michael Tweed for our Residential Construction AutoCAD class. And this week we are going to have a video, and the assignment is to do the second floor of the house we've been looking at. Now, I've already pulled up AutoCAD. We can see here what we're looking at is the first floor from the previous week's assignment. But we're going to use that same file, just like we actually, if you recall, we used the foundation plan first, then we did the first floor right in the same file. We're going to do the second floor right in the same file. I haven't even pulled up the instructions on screen because they are pretty much identical to those that we saw on the first floor. You have to remember that you're going to draw the second floor as you see it. You're going to keep a lot of the things the same, including stairs and exterior walls and even the section tags. And don't forget in the instructions that it has about 12 notes that you need to add to the drawing. If you skip ahead in the video, you will see. And it also talks about the hatching to use for the roofing. Just gives you the specifics about that. So if you don't want to watch the whole video, go to those instructions and you will see it. Before I really jump into this particular video, I just want to mention one other thing, which is we had some practice drawings before we started this construction set. And then we did the foundation plan and we did the first floor plan. We're doing the second floor plan now. This video is not going to contain a step-by-step instruction like the previous two floor plans. You should be getting better at using AutoCAD. You should be starting to figure out how to solve these drawings on your own without having someone tell you exactly what step and what order. Quite honestly, as I always say, the order you get there doesn't matter. You can do it any number of ways. So this video, I'm still going to do a lot in this video. But I'm not going to show you everything. So I'm going to start out by showing you how to start this second floor plan so that it matches perfectly onto the first floor, because that's key. And that might be the biggest part of this video. But I'm not going to show the interior walls. You know, I might start dimensioning just really quickly, as a refresher, but I'm not going to show you all the dimensions. You should be able to figure that out. Same with notes. I'll probably do the hatch. I'll review how to set up the sheet again just to make sure we have that at the end. I'm going to do the stairs because I think the notes, the reason why I'm going to do the stairs, not that I don't think anyone out there can draw it, but you might have questions about dimensions since all the details aren't there. So I will do those. But that's what I'm going to sort of hit those points up a little bit, right? I'm going to do the bathroom blocks and things in there, so you're not going to draw those. You're just going to use the design center. So I'll hit up these points here and there, but there's going to be pauses in the video where we sort of jump ahead and complete, and you're going to be expected to finish the interior walls, finish putting in all the blocks, finishing the dimensions, so on and so forth, because ultimately that's our goal, right? To be able to draw without me. So that said, that's what you're going to expect in the video. So let's start. How would we draw the second floor plan? So again, I've opened my last week assignment. Here it is. This is the thing you printed out. What I'm going to do is I'm going to start by going into Model Space. And here we go. In Model Space, we see two drawings. We see the foundation plan we drew 2 weeks ago. We saw the first floor plan. Well, we know that the second floor walls, structurally for the most part, have to sit on top of the first floor plan. So just as I copied the first floor plan walls, I'm going to copy the first floor plan walls to start the second floor plan, along with some other things like the fireplace, which will be aligned, the stairs will be aligned, and the porch to be able to do the roof accurately and other things like that. So we don't need the entirety of the walls, and you can always pick and choose and edit as you go along, but I'm going to start by copying, and there's other ways of doing this, but I'm going to copy around the fireplace. The internal of that fireplace is going to be a little different. I'm going to come down here. I'm going to get the exterior wall. Boom, boom, boom here. In fact, I'm going to just grab a bit of this line so I can construct the roof from the edge of the porch. I'll talk about the roof, I think, right after I actually get done with doing the exterior walls. I probably didn't need that line, but it's okay if I have an extra line. I'm sure I will. I'll just delete them as needed. I'd rather have too many lines being copied over than not enough, although even that is an issue we can solve if we don't copy enough just by copying again. Again, the interesting thing about the garage is this set of walls actually is not a wall in our drawing. You'll notice the second floor is internal to this. It's up inside the roof of the wall, but we're still going to add a couple lines to those locations that I'll talk about as we're working through this first part of the assignment. And I actually don't need these because I think actually I do. I didn't grab them, so I'll grab them now. I don't need anything in the back because the back doesn't have a roof or anything like that. So I don't need to worry about the back deck. That's nice because it's gonna help me fit it on the viewport on that title sheet at the end of this video. So anyway, got all the exterior walls. I'm gonna go and grab the stairs. A lot of the stairs is going to be reused. Stairs sit right on top of each other. In fact, all this one that's going up, that's the exact same stair for stair, that we will see in the second floor plan, except for instead of course, going up, it'll be going down. So, so I can copy all of that. I don't know that I'll need all of these walls here and here, but I'll start them, and I can always remove them if I don't want to. I'm even going to grab this line because that'll be the edge of the floor on the upper story there. So I'll start with that. I think that's probably pretty good. So hit enter to end the selection. Then I'm going to click any old base point. I'm going to move it over any old amount. I mean, I want to give it about the same space that I had for the first floor plans, but that distance that I moved over doesn't really matter. They just want to be separate drawings. So this is my base. From this I can construct an exact replica of the exterior walls to start from. Now, of course, things like windows and doors, this second floor doesn't have doors. You'd be falling out 2 stories onto the yard. That's no good. But the window location and things like that, they might have some similarities, but there are also differences. So I don't care about those window openings in this plan. So what I'll end up doing is I'll just fillet this entire sort of structure together to create an enclosed, actually I could fill it from here to here, an enclosed, house. And then just as, I've done in the past, come back and fill in the windows and doors once all the exterior walls are done. Again, a lot of that I might leave up to you and not show in this video. I know you guys can do it though. So fill it, fill it, fill it. Plus, by pausing the video or skipping ahead, you do not have to hear me just make up words just to talk. It gets tiring. Just like, when am I going to fill my time? Just fill it in. Filleting, filleting, filling. Haven't they seen me do enough fillets? All right, I can actually erase these guys up top because I'll just fill it from here to here and from here to here to create one nice long single line. It's just nicer to draft that way if you can. Here. So for most of the house, these are the exterior walls. I know I haven't done the garage yet, but let's do the fireplace. In the instructions, it looks like the exterior wall thickness it goes around the entire fireplace. So I'm going to offset, and I'm going to select, visually click from there to select the same offset, and then pull on the inside of this fireplace wall that I had copied previously, and then sort of trim up all the pieces. There's that circle, which is of course the flue inside this shape, which I will let you draw on your own as part of the internal details. There's no dimension on it, but you can see it's just short of the width of this, so just eyeball that up to approximately the same size. So there's the chimney there. Now, the other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to start by drawing the outline of the roof, and we can see that there's a note on here on the bottom left hand side of the drawing. It's approximately in this location that says 1 inch OH typical. OH means overhang, so it's the overhang of that roof. So I can offset, O for offset, 1 foot, and I can generally go around the exterior of my house and offset that 1 foot. And the same is true for the garage, that I have an offset from these exterior walls 1 foot out. Okay? So the first step is to do these offsets. Now, the roof does cover the front porch, so there's no specific dimension on that overhang, but I'm going to assume that it's 1 foot out from this porch line, which is why I copied this line over. So I'm going to offset again 1 foot, just offset that foot down, and this porch line is no longer needed, so I'll erase it. So what I'm going to do now is just fillet this roof edge together. And in fact, I'll just go right through here and trim this out in a minute. Fill it to there and fill it around the garage because the roof goes right around the garage, this way, and this way. Play close attention to what is the roof and not the wall. And I'm going to offset this again because I filleted it up top, so it did extend previously, but the fillet removed it. So fillet, fillet, fillet like that, and that line now is the edge of my roof. I'll trim it up over on this side. The thing is, of course, it's on the wall layer, which is definitely not correct. This roof is not a wall, and this is on some other layer. The reality is I'm just going to select a couple of these lines, and I'm going to put it on the phantom layer, and that gives you that dash double dot dash look that is on the plan. And since I didn't select them all, I'll just match properties. MA is the shortcut there around these lines that define the exterior of that roof edge. So there's a little hatch pattern there, there's shingle-like shape, that's a hatch, and just like on the first floor plan, hatch will be towards the end, although the reality is there's no text in it, so I could do that sooner than later. Maybe I will here as I go. But the next thing I want to show you before I do that is I want to talk about the garage. The garage, or what is above the garage, they call it the bonus room here on the second floor. It's got a room walls approximately here, comes out here and down here. But you'll notice that there's a slight dotted line that marks the exterior of the garage walls as you go around. So I'm going to fillet these together for now. There to there and there to there, and I'll extend this one over, and then I'm going to make it that dotted line. Well, it's actually the same as this dotted line, and since I still have it, I'll just match properties and turn this line into that. If not, that's just the light hidden line layer that I'm using, and you can change your layer to get that. Clearly the bonus room will have a point where some of this wall within this zone will become the wall layer again, but for now this is a good base just to show you that most of the wall is going to turn to this light line layer. And moving on, if I were to continue, let's talk about the roof edge here. We see there's actually some phantom lines that form a little upside down V. That's the peak. Again, we don't have the elevation. I assume they're going to be in a week or two. But when we do an elevation, we'll see a little gable or a little peak in that roof, presumably. So I'm gonna show you how to do that. I'm gonna start with a line from my midpoint from this here and draw straight down. I'm drawing on the hatch layer. I could change it to the phantom layer or just match properties when I'm done, which is what I'll do. So I'm going to rotate this line, select that line, hit the upper end as my base point, and rotate 45 degrees. Then I'm going to extend that line out so it touches this phantom line. That's one side. What I'll do then is mirror, MI is the shortcut, select my line, enter, select the same base point and pull down and click and say enter for no to get the second part of the V. And finally, I'll need a line straight down from that point to that point, and I will match all these properties and make it all green like that. So that's how you do that gable there. The other thing I want to talk about next is doing the stairs. Actually, I could have, and maybe I will go back. This will be a good example in case you forgot how to copy something over. I really can grab all of the risers and all the treads and pull them over because they literally are the same. They're going to be in the same spot. So I've got 3 here. So if I come over to my first floor plan, I already got the first 3 copied. So I'm going to copy again and go from that point up all the way up. And actually, the section cuts too I should grab. So I might as well grab that guy as well. I'm going to grab here, here, and here. My break line is going to be in a different spot, so I'm not going to worry about the break line, but I will grab short on each side like this and like this, all of them here. And I want to grab this section cut, and I'm going to grab this section cut. And when I'm done with what I want to select next, I'll hit enter. This time I'll make sure I get a good base point. So I know in my drawing on my second floor I have this corner already defined. I have other ones too, but this is one of them. So if I click there on that corner, I can select on the same corner, which is right there, and click, and all of those elements will go into the exact same spot. We can see they do fit in there. Since I'm going to move my breakpoint for my stairs, I'll just extend these lines so they fill up the entire space, which if I drew correctly was 3 feet. So that's a good start to my stairs. One of the differences you'll notice between the second floor and the first floor is that instead of being a wall in a lot of these locations, this is now a floor edge and a railing. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to match properties to put these inner lines. Actually, I won't do that one yet, but I'm going to at least take this one and put it on the medium layer, and I'm going to do all of that work on the medium layer, which is what the stairs on. This wall here extends up past my stairs. Again, I don't know how much yet. I'll have to look at the dimensions to do that upcoming, but I'll just pull it up to that zone. So this is the edge of my floor. That's the first line. You'll see that there's, in your drawing, there's like 3 lines here. I'm going to erase this wall because that no longer matters. And to define the railing, I'm going to do an offset of 1 inch. I'm going to say this railing starts 1 inch back. It doesn't say, but it looks about right. And then I'm going to say the railing itself is 2 inches, so I'm going to offset another 2 inches to get this railing. We notice in the drawing there's a little curve on this end, and this can simply be done with a fillet. And if you fillet 2 parallel lines together, they make a perfect half circle like that. So that is that upper railing, as shown in the drawing. Down on this side, we know that the floor line is going to be what was the dotted line above, so I can select this, as well as what was the exterior wall. So I'm going to put that on that line and that on this line, and I'm going to turn this line blue as well, and I'm going to extend up. Well, notice that the wall comes up to this point and just cuts over. So I'm going to extend up this outside wall. I'm going to pull the medium line back, and I'll draw a new line in here to and put it on the wall layer. So I'll match properties on the wall layer to get the end cap of the wall here. The stairs come down here, and the edge of the wall is there. Same thing on this side. I'll offset 1 inch from the inside of the stairs, and then I'll offset another 2 inches for the width of that railing. That's going to make this some remainder. So to get the railing off of this side, I'm going to offset a graphic point. I'm going to select that line, and I'm going to go to that second line. So when I offset this side, it's the same amount. And then I'll offset again 2 inches to get the railing. And then I'll fillet this together. Just like that. And so that's a good start of the stairs. Now this end is going to be controlled by the wall of the room that's developed up here, and I'll let you sort of figure out all those dimensions as you're going along. So I won't end cap that right now. But if I were to sort of finish these stairs, what I'm going to do is I'm going to get a break line here and sort of turn the rest of these stairs to a hidden line as needed. So I'm going to go, I have a good break line. I might as well just copy. I think it'll work pretty well just to copy a break line from my first floor over. An exact location doesn't matter, but I'm going to start it about here. It's a little, I have to rotate it. So I'm going to RO for rotate. Do something more like that angle. I'm going to move it down to about here. That's a good spot for it. So anything below this I will trim. Trim. Actually, that's not trimmable. I have to erase it. I'm going to keep this line in here because I got to make this line a hidden line. So I'm going to match properties to my hidden line. This baluster is not needed. And I'm going to take a hidden line right from here, trim that line away, right from, excuse me, a little tiny sneeze there. I think I got it, so not much was broadcast, but that explains that pause. Anyway, so I'm drawing a straight line down, filleting those things together, and matching that property. There's also the down note, which on the first floor last week we did the up note. Of course, the down, it's just the opposite direction, and you can copy the arrow and whatnot over as needed. That's a note thing, so I'm not going to worry about that at this point in time. But in terms of drawing, in terms of the lines of the building, that's what the stairs looks like with some unfinished connections that will need to be worked out as you do the interior. So I think that's a really good start for now. This is where I'd like to pause the video, and you would go ahead and do the rest of the interior walls, find the locations of the doors, put in the windows, and do all of those things. What I'm going to do is I'm going to pause the video and I will come back to talk about things like the bathroom fixtures and things like that. Hello, I need some dream sequence music in here or something because I just jumped ahead to filling in all the walls. And I just wanted to jump in and make a couple notes of things that you might work with. I'm not going to tell you any specific dimensions necessarily, but things to think about as you're trying to figure out how to draw these interior walls. One is down here, there's a bathtub here. There's also a bathtub up in this location, and it provided 5 feet, which is typical. So I provided the same 5 feet in this location to set that off. There's no dimension on that. And for now, I pulled this at 3 feet. We'll have to see when we put the bathtub in where it aligns. We can always adjust it later if need be. The other things is we have some of these 45-degree line walls here. They're really 45 degrees. I know this angle says 135, but if you just, do it from 180, that's what you get. So that is this line and this line forming a 95 degree. Notice where the intersection of the various angles come through. They're basically at what would otherwise be corners and midpoints of walls. Just want to point that out. You can figure it out. Just a little bit of a heads up. And then the setting of this line is actually not really put anywhere. So I set this corner right on the edge of what was the railing line that we sort of came from here, which is sort of an interesting way to do it, but it sort of works. And last but not least, in this segment, what I wanted to mention were the location of these walls. You'll notice on the plan they say that I dropped in the meantime video, I dropped in the center line, which is a line from the first floor center line right here from this column, right, the structural line, which is basically the halfway point of that garage. It says that the walls are equal on each side, and that's true, but it also, the next dimension out says it varies, and that's because the slope of this roof is coming up at an angle, and so the location of these walls change the higher up you go in plane. So there really is no dimension there. It is appropriate. I know the words might confuse you if you're looking at the dimensions, but that is appropriate. So to do this drawing, really you're just going to have to estimate where you think it goes in this cut, and I'm sure you can figure out there's no exact answer because it does change across the height of that room. But there are some right answers and some wrong answers nonetheless, and you can get it to look like this. I'm certain of it. So with that, I've got all the interior walls done. I'm going to pause the video and I'm going to put in my doors and windows exactly the same way that I did for the other video, so I know you can figure it out, so I'm going to sort of keep that to myself. Hey, it's me again, and I just want to say I'm in the middle of putting in the doors. I'm putting in the openings, and I realized that what I had down here might not have been exactly right. I had previously lined up the closet with this wall here, and on closer inspection it doesn't look like that is indeed the case. So when I laid this wall out, what I did instead is I just provided 3 inches, what I used as a standard 3 inches anytime there wasn't a dimension for the door. It could be centered on a wall, but if it looks like it's just against the wall, I use 3 inches. So I used the 3 inches, then I used the door lengths, 3 inches, and wall heights, and so I sort of worked my way from this wall over to get the location of this wall, and then centered that door in that spot. So that might be a way to begin to figure out that. Alright, I'm going to keep drawing, so I'm going offline. Alright, I have gone ahead and put in all the doors and windows. You can sort of get a glance of what that should look like right here. The only thing that I would really note is on the doors is a lot of these closet doors have these double bifold doors. They're of course 45 degrees, and one length out is 1/4 the length of the whole width, right? Because that's going to be 1/4, 1/4, 1/4, 1/4. So that's how you can get those. I'm not going to tell you all the numbers. I'm sure you can figure it out, but just a little heads up with that. The last bit of sort of true drawing stuff before really notes and hatches and things is to do the bathroom equipment. So I'll just review how to do that really quickly, and we'll see what's actually in the design center, see if everything we need is in there. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to switch to my equipment layer, because that's what I'll put this stuff on. And then remember, we can get to our design center by going to the insert tab right up here, and going over to the design center way over here, and it's going to pull up this thing. You're going to go to samples. If it's closed like mine is, I'm going to go to the English System US. I'm going to go to the design center one, which is here. I'm going to hit the plus sign. There we go. And I will go to the, see what's under the house designer one right here, and I'll double click on blocks over here, and we can see I think a lot of this stuff will be in here. I'll start with the tub, so I'll double click on that, say OK, put it off to the side. Unfortunately, I'm working with this demonstration right on the screen. I could dock it over, but I'll just slap it on down in the side right now. I'm also going to need the oval sink. I'll just put all these things in here and move them around later. So I'll grab that. I'm going to need the toilet. Double click on there, say OK. And there is in the one spot a corner shower. We'll see. Doesn't look like that corner shower is in here, so we might have to just draw that from scratch, unless you know of another place to grab it, which is perfectly fine as well. I don't see it here, so we'll just draw it. So close my design center, then I can move these and rotate these and copy these as needed. So I'd move this into place, rotate it up, and move that in. We can see that wall that I mentioned earlier at 3 feet fits really well. Copy this tub up over here. Of course, we need to rotate it. According to the plan, the drain is on that side. So place that there. Got a couple toilets. Sorry, I'm going to move this toilet over here. I'm going to rotate it this direction. I'm going to move it from corner to corner first, like that, and then I'm going to move this up about 18 inches up. And I will copy this toilet up into here, rotate him this way. I'm going to do the same thing but from corner to tub and move over 18 inches to get that placed there. I've got a double sink in this spot. Let's see, I'm not exactly sure. It doesn't say how far out that countertop is. I'm going to offset. I'm going to try 2 feet, which looks like it's about right. So I'm going to change that from wall layer to my equipment layer. And then I'm going to move the sink up this way. I'm going to rotate it. There's no exact placement of the sink, so I'm going to eyeball one of these in to about here. The placement is really eyeballed centered in this direction, and then below the halfway point on the downward side. And I just want to mirror it up, so I'm going to MI for mirror and flip it around and say yes to put it up on the other side. There's no dimensions in this case on the up and down side, so we'll just have to assume that's pretty good. And I will copy this tub, or sorry, tub, that is a sink. What am I thinking? Trust me, I do not. I do know my equipment here. So rotate that up in that direction. I will come down the wall 24 inches again in this direction and extend this over to the wall. You can see I'm hitting it and not quite the exact spot that they have there. My guess is this isn't 24 on this side, but who knows? Some of those dimensions aren't given. But I'll just eyeball this into place in this direction, and there really is no location of the end. So I'm going to strike a line. And what I'm going to do is, it's probably something rational. So if I measure this from here to here, it says I'm getting a measurement of 2'5", so I might call that 2'6". So I'll strike a line here and then move it 2'6", and it looks like it's about right to the drawing. So I'll fill it that to there and match that properties. to get the location of that sink. And with that, I pretty much have all the elements of the drawing in place, except for notes and dimensions and things. So that's what I'm going to do next, and I'll just go ahead and get you guys started with that. Basically, the key, right, is that all our notes throughout the entire set, they want to match. So a lot of what the notes we have here, I can start just by copying from this way, just like I did the section cut. So if I want to do a door number, well, let me just copy a door tag. Right, from the first floor, copy one of these, move into place. I can pick any one I want, but I'll drop that one in there, and this one happens to be 11 in this spot. I'll have to move it over since it's a double digit, just eyeballing the center location. And then this is 30 inches, so change that to 30 inches. And I would do that for all the doors. Now I can just copy this one to all the doors, put in the right numbers. Same with windows. I can go to a window marker, grab one of those from my first floor, bring it over to my second floor, and then just double click on the notes and change it to the correct numbers. Don't forget to use cap locks, S1 in that location, and this is 30 inches also. And again, then when I have that, copy it over to all the rest of the windows, put in the right numbers. Same with room names. I can copy the room name, which is a little bit bigger than the rest of our text purposely, and of course it's also underlined, so I could copy that over, type in master, return bedroom, and then copy this note to the rest of the locations. There are a bunch of notes on the instructions. There's 10 of them on page 1. 2x6 at 16 inches on center wood stud, 2x4 ... all the way down to fireplace flue. All of those notes should be on there. You can start by using your leader line. So if you want to annotate, you can use your leader line. Alternatively, you can copy notes over and reuse them similarly. So if I wanted to do that, the first one is, I'm going to do the flue. I'm going to do 10 just because it's going to be nice and easy. So I can hit my leader line, go into my flue, pull out, pull a line over, and then type in FP flue, fireplace flue, right? And I've got a leader line. Do that for all the rest. I've got a down note right in here. If you recall from the last assignment, I actually took a leader line and exploded it to get this line for the up and drew a little circle or donut actually for the endpoint there. But since I already have that started, I'll do the same thing. I'll copy this piece, that piece, the note, because I'll need the text as well, and I'll copy the donut. I'll just copy these over. I have to completely rearrange them here, but I'll slide them into this space, rotate the note down, or the arrow down, move it to a center point like this, draw a line. Actually, let me go back to my home tab and let me switch to the text layer because it's the same color. I would have to be careful. I'm going to snap to the midpoint there, pull over, and fillet these two lines together to get a nice arrow. Then I'm going to move my circle or the donut from the center point up into this location, and I'll move or I'll rotate my text around, change it to down. Of course, it's the same set of stairs, so it's going to have the same number of risers. So I'll just say down and then move it up to above that line, just like that. Again, go put in the rest of all those notes that you see in the sheet. And then you'll also want to dimension. So dimension, I'll switch to the dimension layer. Everything should be set up from our previous dimensions. I'll go to the annotate tab and I'll use whatever set of tools I need over here to get all of those dimensions in. And I've done it plenty of times in other videos, so you can watch the detail there. But of course, I often start with this guy. Snap a corner on this side, snap a corner on this side, and you pull up. And I know I can't go too high actually because I won't fit on the viewport. So I'm going to keep it nice and tight, get an overall. Then I can snap, start again, snap on this corner, go to this corner, and pull up nice and tight. And if I want to continue dimension, I'll just hit this button and go to the next point. Hit enter to end it, and so on and so forth. I can double check to see if my drawing is correct as I'm doing dimensioning, because if the numbers should match, in this case 60 is correct and 22 is correct. This one is question mark on our sheet just to make you think, but in your drawing just leave it as 38 feet there. When you get to dimensions over on the side, don't forget you can easily write in words instead of dimensions. So if I were to dimension here to here, and I continue that dimension up to the other side, and then I pull a dimension out further from this, all of these in this case, they say on the sheet equal here and equal here, the numbers are the same. And then here it says varies, because I talked about how the roof prints varies. So to change those, I would just double click on this, select all the text, type in equal. Again, make sure your cap lock is on, all capital letters, equal, varies. Of course, I might want to tighten this up a little bit because I know we're tight on space. So I'll tighten that up a little bit, and I could add, whenever I wanted to, I could add that overall dimension from this side to this side to there, which should be 28 feet, and indeed it is. So this is just the start of the dimensions. You would go ahead, copy the dimensions as you see them. Again, don't forget to put the notes that are on the instruction page. What I'm going to do is I'm going to pause the video. I'm going to do all that behind the scenes. You can do it. I know you'll have it done, and when you see this next, we'll finish up this drawing with some hatch and setting up the paper space. Alright, so jumping ahead, here we go. Here is what it looks like with all the notes on it. If I sort of zoom in a little bit and pan around, I don't know if that's helpful to sort of see where I put notes. Again, there's some flexibility about where things go. I might have to adjust them when I fit the viewport, and various things like that. You want to make them look clean and align things where you can, move things over if you have to so they read neatly, so on and so forth. Now, what I'm going to do now to finish this up drawing is I'm going to hatch it. So I'm going to go to my home layer, home button. I'm going to go to hatch layer right there, and I've got to do the brick hatch, and I've got to do the roof hatch. So I'm going to hatch, and there. Click, 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 click. And now I could go and set my hatch. You could look at your old instructions, or I'm just going to zoom over here to this drawing, do MA for match properties, select the brick hatch there, and click on it here to transform that into to the way it's supposed to look. And then I got to do the roof hatch. I'm actually going to start by drawing a line where the hatch is going to end, which is basically at the end of this wall here and here. If I don't draw that line, it's going to hatch right through because it's all open pretty much. I've got another one here to here. I have to draw a line, just doing it on the hatch layer. Then I will go to hatch. I got to do the same thing pretty much here to here. Otherwise it's going to come up. I don't need it there, but I am going to need it here. There we go. Draw a line there, there, there. Continue. That's a tricky thing, just closing off that hatch so it can end in that zone right there where it needs to end, and I can then just sort of click across. You can see this is where it's ending. Now since this is all one sort of hatch, I will leave it like this and I'll do the other hatch a second time. Actually, I got to go up into the wall as well because this is just a dotted line for the roof below. So I do there and there. That'll be the entire hatch. And the instructions say to use AR shake. So I'm going to open up this button to find the hatch. AR shake right here, and it wants to be a scale of 1, which we have, so I've got that, and I can hit enter. Hey, what happened to my hatch? Disappeared. Oh no, what did I do? I think I hit enter and deleted it. Let me try again. hatch is going to be all set this time. Make it easier to see it for sure. And you want to make sure you get that little spot there. What's going on? Try again. Hatch, 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 hatch. Close hatch creation. Every time I'm closing it, it's disappearing. Let me think about this. Think I can get it to work maybe if I try in pieces. I don't know why it's not hatching the whole thing. Maybe there's something over there. Let me just try doing this much. That disappears. Okay, I'm gonna hatch. That'll hatch as a single unit. That's just fine. If I do a couple of these here, that's gonna disappear. Okay. So let me just try this triangle. So maybe, why, I don't know. Just do one at a time for some reason. Hatch one area at a time. Not sure why mine's doing this. But it'll work this way. Sorry about that. But anyway, there's the front part to be hatched, and then the back part do the same thing. Hatch, 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 and good. That's all hatched. I think I pretty much got everything. You of course might want to do a good double check so you get credit for everything. But now I just need to set up the title block. So just to refresh on this, I've already got the foundation and first floor set here. I can just copy the first floor and reuse it. So I'm going to right click over the first floor, say move and copy. I'm going to say move to end and create a copy. Those two things are important. I'm going to say OK. Now this says first floor 2. It looks identical. So I'm just going to right click on here and say rename and call it second floor. I'm going to double click into my viewport, get it active, pan over. If I hold shift, it'll go straight over. Yep. I let go of shift by accident here. Am I going to fit? No, just like all the rest, it doesn't quite fit side to side. I'm going to have to shrink down. I'm going to not move my buttons here. So I'm going to have to move these notes a little bit, move these dimensions a little bit. That's not a problem. I'm still set at 3/16, which is good. If not, verify doing that. So before I finish setting up the title block, I have to change all my notes essentially. I'm going to go back into model space. I'm going to make sure that these things are all nice and tight and close. I'm going to start by pulling them really close in and hope that that's enough on this side. And then if I put the dimensions on this side really close in, as close as I can get. Let's see if I can get this to fit. It looks like it's all fitting now. I've got a little bit of room here. I'm really tight. I'm technically cutting off a little tag there, but I've got room on my viewport. Select my viewport, click the corner, move it out a little bit. Got that dimension, got all my notes. Horizontally, top to bottom looks good. So I'm going to come here. Of course, this is no longer the first floor. It is now the second floor plan. Scale is still the same. I can move my north arrow over appropriately. We are going to change the numbers on the top and bottom to 103. 103 there, A103 there, A103 here. Change this to second floor plan also. Of course, don't forget, if you did it before and you did it correctly, it should be your name, the scale as noted, the due date, whatever the due date happens to be for you, and whatever the section day happens to be for you, AM or PM. And that would be the end, so I would save it. You'd print it out on 11 by 17, hand it in, upload it onto Vanco for me, and we will move on from here. Thanks for watching.